Well, hello out there in YouTube land. This is Agent Exeter coming to you for my first YouTube video. For those of you who have been following me, I've actually had a YouTube page for quite a long time, but I've never actually posted a video. I just never felt like I felt I had something to contribute. But my friend has convinced me to show you my Minecraft base because apparently it's a pretty impressive base. So I've decided, alright, I'm going to go ahead and show you and make it as my first inaugural YouTube video. I'm kind of getting addicted to this whole vid capture, YouTube video thing. So I might actually post more gameplay videos of other games in the future. Anyway, so let's get started. I actually run my own multiplayer server that I host here at my house. So let's get started. Okay, so we're at the spawn. Let's tell you what, let's just let me throw her into creative mode and just fly over there. That might keep the time down. But I decided I wanted to make my base a decent distance away from the spawn. Plus I wanted to find a really good location for it. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to do desert or if I wanted to do Arctic or whatever. So I just kept going, a few of my friends, and we finally decided to kind of just start here in this jungle. The chunks load. Tell you what, just so we have something spectacular, there's a particular view I want to show you just as we approach the base. It's kind of an interesting little spectacular view, because it's almost like Indiana Jones trudging through the village, or trudging through the village, through the jungle, and you just happen upon this temple. So I'll put it right about here. Throw it back in survival. So let's say you're Indiana Jones, just rummaging through the jungle, and you're like, hey, where are we going? And swimming or jetpack on. So, what I decided was I wanted a jungle because I love the way the jungle vines sort of just droop down to the water's edge. Plus, you get these really kind of like insane chunk air loads. These chunk airs when they load the wrong way. And so you have these like floating trees, and I was just like, you know what? I don't have the heart to chop it down or fix it. I'm gonna just leave it that way. So you have these trees that are literally growing in the middle of nowhere, and they're drooping these vines all the way down to the water. So I was like, okay, this seems like a nice spot. So a lot of people ask me why I build a temple, and well, I'm a sucker for romance, so I'll go ahead and tell you the truth. A lot of people, I try to bullshit them and say that, oh, I built it for, because I wanted a super secret mountain hideaway or whatever. I built it for my wife. I love my wife enough to where I built a temple to her. Because how many guys can say that? How many guys can actually say, hey, I built a temple to my wife? May have been in a Minecraft world, but hey, at least it's something. So, of course, I know many people are out there going, well, did she actually appreciate it? Well, she appreciates it some days. Anyway, so I built a temple, and what I tried to do is I tried to leave as much of the natural sort of growth as I could, because to be honest, the way the natural Minecraft growth is, I couldn't duplicate this. There's no way I could actually duplicate myself, so I said, you know what? Let's just cut as little as possible out of the jungle and sort of let the jungle's natural look. Let's just try to preserve that. So I was like, okay, let's do that. And the cool thing is these the leaves make sort of natural stairs, you know, and you can kind of climb up them and so on and so forth. So I said, let's just leave that. But this temple is a bit deceiving. It makes it seem very simple, and yet it completely conceals the truth that lies beneath and lies within. But so let's go ahead and go on in. This is my place. Welcome to my place. So I've again constructed the outer part of the temple to be basically very, you know, either Mayan or something you'd find in, like, you know, Aztec or Olmec, you know, something like that. I mean, obviously you can't get into particular styles when you get into Minecraft, but, you know, I try to make it seem very sort of like I said, Indiana Jones-ish. And yes, that is a glass fiber cable, and I will explain where that goes and what that's in fact hooked up to. But we'll get to that later. So I have this temple, and like I said, it's supposed to be, you know, this ancient-looking temple, but obviously that's just sort of a facade, because obviously it doesn't go that far. You know, you go all the way down here, and you're like, hey, is this it? What's going on? What's going on down here? You know, what's going on down there? But I try to make it seem like, you know, this is a very eclectic temple. But the real truth lies within. So let's go downstairs. So cutting down this very long shaft has several levels until we reach the main level of our base. And this is the main level of our base. This is sort of the main storage room that I've tried to at least keep at least halfway decently organized, with the respective stuff, MineCraft stuff, organics, food, you name it. And you may be hearing the rum of the power systems, but I'll get to that in a second. So first I have is my underground hydroponic farm. Everything from potatoes, pumpkins, wheat, carrots, bamboo, flaxseed, you name it. I got it. I've even thinking about expanding this to incorporate some of the other growables that I've found. Maybe grow some cactuses or something. Alright, move into this room, and we have a rubber tree farm. Now, anybody who's played Tekkit... Oh, probably should have mentioned that this is a Tekkit Lite server, not for Minecraft or whatever. My apologies. Rubber tree farm. People know that rubber trees are required for one thing, actually many things, but one thing is it's required for copper cabling. So, which means IC2, Redcraft, Buildcraft, all that jazz. I decided to make some windows here, because I like looking out on things. It's strange that just adding these sets of windows gives a sense of, like, openness to the base. I don't know why. It doesn't make it seem like it's contiguous rooms. I may actually add windows here, but let me tell you what this is. The gate room. This used to contain a Nether gate portal until I found the wonderful world of dimensional doors. How awesome those are. We'll go to the Nether in a little bit. But I actually had a gate here, with an overly complicated opening and closing system that I ultimately got rid of in favor of this dimensional door because, like I said, it's just much simpler. Which is one of the reasons why I had the iron doors here to keep mobs from trying to get out of this room. It's also the reason why I didn't have glass or any kind of holes. But so that's that. This is my sort of main sort of crafting area, as you can see. I've got project tables. I've got little crystal crafting chest, some craftables, IC2 machines, and some buildcraft machines. As you can see, I've sort of upgraded to sort of the tier 3 versions of everything, making sure everything's plugged in with the transformer upgrades and so on and so forth. Got the down conversion to the 2 machines that can't be upgraded. And I've even got an overly complicated recycling system to provide raw materials for, well, I call it a particle accelerator, but it's basically a mass fabricator producing UU matter here. And as you can see, I've made efficient use of the tesseracts. What's funny is I actually played Tekkit Lite for a long time, and I didn't even realize those were in there until someone told me about them. And once I did that, oh my god, it made my life a lot easier. I was like, wow, I couldn't believe, I couldn't understand how I got so far without them. But I made these overly complicated base designs because I didn't know about those. So you'd have looked at it and been like, wow, there's a much you'd have probably looked at my piping designs and probably would have said, yeah, dude, there's a much simpler way you could have accomplished this. But whatever, it's a learning experience. That's what this game's about, building and learning. 2 HV charging benches. Got a little bed area. This is one of the other server administrators. And that's me and my wife. Of course, I always sleep on the right-hand side. Okay, so let's take a look at let's take a look at the recycling system before I leave, so I don't do some backtracking. So I basically have this recycling system that's made, it's used to generate scrap for the mass fabricator. For those who don't know, that scrap makes mass fabrication much easier. Let me just create a stack of cobble just to kind of demonstrate it for those who don't know. Of course, if you do know, I'm sure this is probably just par for the course, and you know, you're like, oh, he's just explaining things. But you know, just for the noobs or the people who don't know, no sense in keeping them in the dark. All right, so basically, what I do is you just put either I put cobblestone or it comes in through this item tesseract that's coming in from the quarry. And what it does is it basically pipes in. Here, let me get around. Pipes in cobblestone, and it hits a decision gate. This emerald pipe, and gets routed to either the recycler downstairs or these 2 recyclers up here. I'm thinking about putting the recycler up here. I don't know. I'm just, you know, I'm always constantly redesigning, but basically it moves the stuff around, goes in the recycler, and then the scrap moves through the tube downstairs into an item tesseract that takes it out to the particle accelerator site. And I call it the particle accelerator site because I like calling it that. Now, this item tesseract is connected to another item tesseract that is connected to a sorting system where all my quarry ores are sorted. And there's a special tube that routes the stuff, cobble and dirt specifically, into that tesseract, so it comes up here and gets recycled into scrap to go out to the particle accelerator. So, without further ado, let's actually go to that, because I was going to do the power systems, but let me do the quarry site because I just mentioned it. Okay. Okay, so this is the sorting and storage system for the quarry ores and quarry producibles. As you can see, I have a crap ton of everything. Just ungodly amounts, unholy amounts of just so many things. So, there you go. And then this is just sort of a general storage container for things I haven't really sorted yet. I'll get around to it. But let's go downstairs where the magic happens. This is my sorting and automated processing system. I'm not going to take the time to explain the intricacies, but let me just go ahead and start it up. As you can see, it stalls for a second, just until the system kind of gets primed. So it's pretty annoying sound. I'll go away in about a minute. So basically, the way I have the system set up, come on, there we go. There we go. See, as you can see, it takes a few moments for the system to prime. But anyway. Okay, so the way I have this set up is I have it set up so that the this switch basically turns on and off this main transformer, which then will starve the bat box, and then eventually will shut the machines off. And then I have this switch controlling a series of redstone circuits that control essentially all these redstone engines. And then, oh yeah, there's a geothermal power tap and piping system that runs all the way up into the power room, which I'll explain in a few minutes. The way I have this set, it all starts here at this diamond pipe. I basically have it set so that it basically sends all the processable ores out the blue to a macerator and then induction furnace. I have red set to go into the item tesseract, which takes it up to the recycler upstairs. Yellow is kind of a pass-through to go to the next station. And then green, I have connected to a void pipe for solid, just straight-up disposal. And I'll come back here and I'll adjust that pipe. A lot of times that pipe won't get used because I'll be using everything. Other times I'll just have like way too much dirt and I'll have to dispose of it. And so I have to do it that way. Alright, so, oh wait, hold on, where is it? Here we go. So, next thing I do is, if I can get up on top of this thing. Next thing I do is if an item either goes through this macerator induction furnace process, or it'll come to this next decision pipe. When I run into organics and ores and things like that, I have it routed up through the black, or down through the black, so it comes down to the singularity compressor to extract its resin, and then it's pumped into through this piping system up here, which then gets routed and goes up into the box upstairs. Gray is for uranium, so it can go across the room over here to be compressed into bricks of uranium ore, or refined uranium. And then red is to basically go into the straight into an induction furnace. So if it's a case of where it's an object that can't be macerated and then into an induction furnace, like lead ore, for example, where it has to be straight cooked, so then it goes through red. Ferrous ore, lead ore, sand, that sort of thing, if I want to make glass. And then yellow is again the pass-through. And then so basically, if something goes, so I have it set so that gems will kind of go through the pass-through, yellow, to go in here and then get, sorted and processed. And I have it so that gems will go off to the left, and then the refined ores and refined stuff will go up that pipe to get sorted again. And that's basically how that works. Now, to make an automated refined iron process, I've got this bad boy right here. I'm taking advantage of the fact that what I'm taking advantage of is the fact that if you put the same item in two different filters, it creates a probability scenario in which you'll have either 1/3, 2/3, whatever the ratio is. So the way I have it set up is I have 2 iron ingots in red and 1 iron ingot in gray. And what that does is, if it comes out the red output, it goes into the sorting pipes to get sorted upstairs. If it comes out the gray, it will go into the gray pipe and get sorted and cooked again to be made into refined iron. So the way I have it set up is I have it set up so that the iron, about 1/3 of the iron will be turned into refined iron. So I'll have about 1/3 of my iron is refined iron, and then it's pumped out the output, of course, and sent along its merry way. And you know, that's about it. So, and then sent along its merry way. All right, so let's go to the quarry site. Now, my quarry isn't running right now because I have way too many ores, and I'm probably not going to run a quarry again. Well, let me just go ahead and show you what I've constructed. And I've actually made a very simplified system. The way I have this set up is, and again, I'll get to the power systems in a minute. The way I have this set up is I have it set up so you have a quarry transport pipe that leads into an item tesseract, which sends it back to the quarry sorting system that you saw before. This tesseract that's sitting right here. There's a pipe underneath this tesseract that runs down into the sorting system. So anything coming in from the quarry comes out that tesseract. Goes into this tesseract, comes out that other tesseract. Power is provided by these two energy tesseracts running through these redstone pipes, or these redstone conductive pipes into the quarry. Now, what this does, and what's great about this, is that it simplifies how much of your equipment is sort of out in the field and at risk. So basically I have two power providing objects, about three redstone pipes, the quarry itself, two transport pipes, and an item tesseract. And what's great is that this is really only about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of equipment, or 5 types of equipment. So if I want to move this quarry somewhere, along with the landmarks, I basically just have to pick this up, pick up this pipe, pick up the quarry, pick up the transport tubing and the item tesseract, and then just walk it somewhere else, and then set up the landmarks. Set up the landmarks, right click on them, drop the quarry, set up the transport piping and tesseracts, and then hook it all back up, and bam, it's ready to go again. So I made a quarry that's very sort of streamlined, and the equipment and logistics support structure for it is actually not here. It's actually located back at the base, and it doesn't have to move. The energy is provided by an overly complicated lava generating system that, again, doesn't have to move. All it has to do is just transport it here. Same thing. The lava sorting, or the item sorting system, doesn't have to be here. It just has to be somewhere to be received by this item tesseract, and this is the only equipment that's actually out in the field. And with a fully functioning quarry, you can get this, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, that is a big, deep ass hole, all the way to the bedrock. I actually did this for 2 reasons. One, I needed the mineable ores, but I also wanted just to have a big hole. I really wanted to see the power of this quarry that I kept seeing pictures of, and I was like, I got to see this myself. And it's absolutely amazing. It's a hole in the world. I mean, it's several chunks wide, and it just completely bisects things. Look at this. Look at this. It's just amazing. Anyway, all right, moving on. Okay, so now for the power systems. This is actually kind of sort of an inspired design. Oops. And to be honest, it's also something that, it needs to be explained now, because I've gotten to the point where it's like, well, where are you getting the power from this? Okay, so first things first. So let's go downstairs. This is main engineering. I mean, if you were to say what is the central part of the base, this is main engineering. This this liquid tesseract is connected to another tesseract in the Nether, from which I am piping lava from. I have these two big tanks, which it's feeding, which kind of gives me an indicator of level of the health of the lava flow. So if these tanks start dropping, I know there's something wrong in the Nether, and I need to go check it out. These pipes run to these pipes here run to two things. These pipes run to the geothermal generators up here, and this pipe runs, it's concealed, but it runs to the geothermal generators here, which powers the quarry system. Chunk loader. Alright, these geothermal generators are powering nothing right now. That's amazing. Huh. Well, they were powering a transporter, but they were powering a transporter system. But when I discovered dimensional doors, I sort of offloaded it. But yeah, right now these aren't really powering anything. I really need to tie them into something. But these geothermal generators were powering a transporter system, and oh, they're powering the quarry. That's what I did with them. My bad. These are now powering the quarry. I separated the quarry systems from the main base systems. Okay, so here's the geothermal generators powering these MFSU battery units and high voltage transformers to power the to go into an energy bridge, because the quarry is powered by buildcraft power, not by industrial craft power. So you have to use an energy bridge to convert industrial craft power into buildcraft power, and then send that energy into these energy tesseracts to be sent out to the quarry tesseracts. All right, and then these geothermal generators power the base systems. Bit overkill, I know, but they power the base systems and are high voltage, and then run into the charging stations in the lower, into the two charging stations up on the top. I also have a dedicated pipe that runs to a single geothermal generator, or actually a pair of geothermal generators, which power these crafting machines. Again, I like the visual of the lava flowing, so I kind of have that too. I know a lot of people say, well, this is overkill. You have a lot of power being channeled. Like, you don't need 4 MFSU units to power just 2 charging stations or whatever. But I don't know. It's just I like doing overkill. Okay, so someone asked me the other day when I was showing off the pictures, what does this switch do? It just seems to be an innocuous switch in the middle of nowhere. And when I flip it, all it does is change the direction of this pipe. So what is this about? Well, sometimes the nether stations run dry, or the chunks fail to load, or I suffer, or just some sort of issue. Sometimes I run out of lava coming out of the nether station. And so I came up with an idea of an auxiliary lava support system. So follow this down to the bottom, and we have 2 auxiliary tanks. These are auxiliary lava tanks. Kind of like auxiliary power on the Starship Enterprise. We have 2 auxiliary lava tanks, which is powered by this lava device here. Now, right now, these lava tanks are full, and I absolutely don't need to use the lava fabricator. But it's here essentially to provide emergency-based power support, because as you can see, that tube is tied only into the charging stations and the crafting device, or the IC2 machines upstairs, but not into the quarry, because I consider the quarry a secondary system. So that's basically what this is for. It's basically to keep the base power running and leave everything else. Secondary systems are allowed to go offline. Like I said, right now it's not doing anything. So the question is, well, wait a second. If this is powering a lava generator, and the lava generator is powering the geothermal generator, then what the heck's powering the lava fabricator? Do you remember that cable that was running the entire length all the way up from the surface? Well, let me show you what is power. Now that I've shown you what it's powering, let me show you what is powering it. I basically ran a large glass fiber cable all the way from the surface, all the way from the roof of the temple. And what is on the roof, pray tell? Well, a lot of people, a lot of guides, and for those of you who are familiar with lava fabricators, you probably have already guessed. Best way to power a lava fabricator is powering it off of actual, like, creeper. Don't want him to blow up my stuff. Come here, creeper. Got something for you. Haha. Yeah, I don't like creepers blowing up my stuff. I'm actually, in fact, you know, let me switch it to day, just so that I'm not running the risk of blowing anything up. One of the best ways to power a lava fabricator is to use solar panels. So that's what I've done. High voltage solar arrays. Now, of course, you say, well, wait a second. Doesn't that mean you can only power the lava fabricator during the day? No. Well, that's what the MFSU battery down there is for. It's to give it enough juice to last through the night, so when the light comes back and turns, and the solar array starts picking up power again, the lava fabricator can continue to run even through the night. In fact, this is based on the same thing with real-life applications where solar panels are used to charge up batteries, and those batteries then run through the night while the solar panels are unable to charge. Okay, so I've shown you that, but the next thing I'm going to show you is the Nether. I'm going to show you the primary pumping stations for the lava. Whoa, what's going on? Hey, I'm going to die. No. That was very strange. I'm going to have to fix that. Okay. I'm going to have to use the TPX teleport command from MineCraft to get down there. I have no idea what's going on down there. So let's see if we can find out what the heck's going on. TPX 0 29. Oh wait, no, that's the overworld. -1 29 46 -21. Very odd. Why is there a chunk there? A piece of obsidian. Okay, let's do that again. Okay. Alright, so heading out into the world. This is the Nether. And actually, what I did was, I just set up the pumping station not that far away. Oh, that was satisfying. Basically, all I did with the pumping station is I basically just set up a series of, Whoa! Whoa, buddy! How'd you get in there? Okay, so what I did was I basically just set up a series of pumps in here, in the Nether. Probably because I didn't have to torch the place. That's probably why. Go ahead and add some. Alright, so basically what I did was I added a series of pumps I basically use the mining laser's long range mode to shoot straight down and basically get to the lava. And then from there, it pumps out. It pumps lava from the nether pool up into the pump using redstone engines into a liquid tesseract, which pumps it into that room back at the lava station. And that's basically it for that. And that's just simple. I mean, it's really simple. Procedure. The idea was I didn't want any materials or stuff. I wanted to keep the risk of equipment that I had out in the field to a minimum. And as you can see, using lava really is seriously intensive. I mean, just take a look at this. This used to be an entire lava ocean that was up to about here. Actually, no, actually about here. And my lava system has basically drained it all the way to the nether rock, and has even revealed, by the way, this deep chasm that there was lava in, which I didn't even realize until I came out down here one day, and I realized there was a big hole. That in fact, I thought the ground was just flat. I didn't realize there was a big hole until this thing pumped it dry, and I was like, oh my god. So this is a big nether pool of lava that's been pumped dry. In fact, I'm probably gonna have to move. In fact, it looks like I'm gonna have to move pumping stations. I'm gonna have to move pumping stations somewhere else because it looks like in a very short time, this lava pool is gonna be pumped of lava source bricks, and I'm gonna be out of power. I'm gonna have to resort to the auxiliary power system. So I'm thinking I'm probably gonna have to come over here somewhere and set up another lava station, something like that. But wow, that's just amazing. Look at this. Look at this. Look at how much lava that's been sucked dry from the source blocks. Just all the way down. All the way down. It's amazing. I might have to set the chunk loader to a larger level. Okay. So let me take her out of creative mode. I'm trying to play in survival as much as I can. Okay, so now there's that. Now, let's go out to the particle accelerator site, which I have set up with. Actually, no. Let's do the pocket dimension first. So we have a pocket dimension, which we do MineCraft stuff. I'm actually leaving this up to the other server administrator, but there's different dimensions and things that we go to. It's kind of like Stargate. We open up a new world every week just to see what's there. And this door, well, this door leads to the end. This is the end. My only friend, the end. Anyway, so this leads to the end. Whoa, there's Enderman outside. But that leads to the end and the Ender Dragon. Maybe I can, maybe I'll explore that in another episode, but I think I'm getting a little long in time. So, I'm gonna hurry up, because I got about 20 minutes left. Alright, so, out at the particle accelerator site, I have a huge lava fabrication system going on, which is powering this lava system, these geothermal generators, and what we're doing here is I'm using it to power these MFSU batteries, which is then powering the mass fabricators. So this mass fabricator here is powering and creating UU matter, and basically it's generating UU matter for the creation of iridium ore to make, well, actually, to make our quantum suits. So the quantum suits we have already made at this particular point in time, as you can see. But I'm also using UU matter for other things, and also just to see what it takes to make the stuff. Also, in just on the surface, and I'll show you where this is. is it's actually in the basement of a house that the other game master of this server had created. And so what I did was I basically made a little town, a little enclosure. I'm gonna go back into creative mode. I basically made there's the solar panels that are powering the lava system downstairs. But what I did was I created a little enclosure. First I started with a ranch, and then I just started to expand outward. And I created a fenced-in enclosure so that I could have cats and dogs able to sort of run around and patrol the place and not get out, and kind of keep the mobs at bay, as well as allow the ranch animals, 'cause sometimes they pop out of the pen, and they're walking around much like this cow is, and I don't want him to get lost, so I have sort of a secondary fence enclosure to kind of keep him in. And ironically enough, you know, my friend actually commented how it kind of looks like a little town, like a little fenced-in little town, complete with, you know, access doors and everything. So that building there is the particle accelerator site. This is my ranch, the Rancho del Sol, with pigs and cows and chickens. I'm working on trying to get some sheep up here. You know, ironically enough, this being a snowy area, but it's surrounded by jungle biome, it's actually kind of difficult trying to find a sheep. I'm thinking there may be some sheep up in those hills that I can go get. This over here is my Ender Dragon, mount. I can ride this dragon. Right now, he's just kind of chilling. His name's Endy, the Ender Dragon. He's kind of just chilling in his little house. He's got a saddle. I can ride him. So, yeah, he's pretty cool. Finally, the last but not least is my dog and cat house. This is basically where I'm breeding cats and dogs to kind of act as guards for the area, and also just to kind of complete my little menagerie. Just because I like the sound of dogs and cats and cows and chickens, and just the sound of, you know, animals running around. So I figure, hey, why not? This is just a random little art piece of just some water floating in a cube, being warmed by a torch. I don't know. I just did it because I was bored. But this is my little enclosure here, and and there's my buddy's Ender Dragon. There's my buddy's Ender Dragon. He's chilling out there on the ice. So that's basically it, man. So this is Agent Exeter's server, Core Force, and we've got a nice little town, nice little base. Me and my partner are thinking about making a base in the Nether, maybe. And you know, who knows? Who knows what else we're going to think of in the meantime? But so that's it. That's our tour. That's my tour. I'm thinking about having some actual Minecraft adventures. So like I said, who knows in the future? Who knows what the future will bring? Anyway, this is Agent Exeter signing off. Hope you enjoyed my little tour of my server. Hope you think it's nice. If you don't think it's nice, then, well, I'm sorry. Sorry you wasted 45 minutes of your time. But I think it's a nice server. I put a lot of work and effort into it, and I love it. And I'm gonna keep it until the day I die, pretty much. You know, I'm gonna keep backing up. Even if I switch to Feed the Beast, or if I do something else, I'll always have this server kind of chilling in the background, just kind of as a place to come back to. You know, I've decided this is going to be my home. And it's a nice looking home indeed. Anyway, so here's to you. Have a good day. Have a good night whenever you view this. And, you know, hit subscribe on my channel if you think, if you like what you see, and so on and so forth. Alright, so I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.